Hi everyone, this is me Basim and welcome back to my channel. So today in this video we are gonna printing this star pattern using C language. So let's begin. First of all, before writing any code, you need to determine the number of rows and the number of columns in any pattern. So let me label all the rows and columns. It will be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let me do the same for the number of columns as well. It will be 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so this will be representing the number of rows which will be shown with I, and this will be representing the number of columns which will be shown with the letter J. Okay, so one thing is clear that there are 5 rows and there are 5 columns as well in our pattern. And there will be 2 loops to print this star pattern. One will be representing the number of rows and the other loop will be representing the number of columns. So as I mentioned earlier, there will be an I loop and J loop respectively. I loop will be representing the number of rows and the J loop will be representing the number of columns as well. You can use another letter if you want, but I have used I and J. Okay. So the range of I loop will be 0 till 5. How? Because there are 5 rows in our pattern, so the range of I will be 0 till 5. And let me explain you how to determine the range of J loop. Just focus at this star. At this star, the value of I is 0 and the value of J is also 0. Okay? And at this star, the value of I has been increased by 1, but the value of J is remains same, which is 0. Now let's focus on this star. The value of I is 2 and the value of j is still the same, which is 0. So by observing all these stars, we can clearly determine the range of j, which will be somehow look like this. It will be j less than equals to I. Since at this star, the value of I is 0 and the value of j is also 0, which means both of the values of I and j are same. But at this star, the value of I has been increased by 1, but the value of j is still the same, which is 0. So we can clearly determine that the range of j loop will somehow look like this. It will be j less than equals to I. So now let's move to the software and write both of these loops. First of all, I will make a header file with hash include stdio.h. Now write the main file or main heading int main. Now I will declare both of my loops. It will be I, comma j. And remember that there will be a nested loop since you have already observed this pattern. There are 5 rows and 5 columns, and the I loop will be running for the number of rows and j will be running for the number of columns. So there will be a nested loop, which means there will be a loop inside another loop. So let me make a nested loop. It will somehow look like this. For I is equals to 0 and I less than 5, I plus plus. And let me make another loop for the number of columns. It will be for j is equals to 0, j less than equals to I semicolon j plus plus. Okay. So now both of the loops has been created. This loop will be representing the number of columns, which is the inner loop, and this loop will be representing the number of rows. So now let's make the condition for the star and for the blank spaces as well. Now just focus at this blank space. Over here you can clearly see the value of I is 2 and the value of j is 1 at this blank space. So when the value of I is 2 and the value of j is 1, there is a first blank space. Okay, let's write this condition into our software. So it will be if I is equals to 2 and j is equals to 1, So what will happen? There will be a blank space. Now how we will print blank space? We will write printf, bracket open, inverted commas, and just press the space bar. Okay, to create or to print a blank space. Now write semicolon. So this is the condition for our first blank space. Now let's write the condition for another blank space. You can clearly see at this blank space the value of I is 3 and the value of j is still the same, which is 0. Okay, so when the value of I is 3 and the value of j is 1, there will be another or second blank space. So let's write this condition. It will be else if I equals to 3 and j is still the same, which is 1. So what will happen? There will be a blank space. Printf, bracket open, inverted commas, and blank space. So yeah, we have created the condition for the second blank space. Now let's create this condition for the last or the third blank space. So let's focus on this third blank space. You can clearly see the value of I is 3 and the value of j is 2. So when the value of I is 3 and the value of j is 2, there will be a blank space. Let's write this condition into our software. Else if I equals to 3 and j equals to 2, there will be a blank space. Printf, bracket open, inverted commas, semicolon. So yeah, we have created these three conditions for the three blank spaces. Now what will be the scenario if there will be no blank space? If there will be no blank space, so we can clearly see star has been printed. So if there will be no blank space, there will be a star. So let's write this condition for the star as well. We will just write else, and write printf, bracket open, inverted commas, and star. Okay, so this is the condition we have written to print the star. Okay, and when the one line has been completed, you can clearly see over here this row, which is represented with the number 0. This row, when this row has been completed, either star has been printed or a blank space has been printed, the cursor has moved to the next line. So there are two star has been printed and then the cursor has moved to the another line. So to move the cursor to another line, we just need to write printf backslash n. But where we will write this printf backslash n? Outside the inner loop. Outside this loop, we will write the condition for the cursor to move to the next line. So over here, our loop has been ended. So we will press enter and write printf, bracket open, inverted commas, backslash n. Due to this condition, our cursor will move to the next line. And this is our outer loop. Over here, our outer loop has been ended. So we will write return 0 to terminate or to end the program. Now just press F1 key to check whether our pattern has been printed or not. Our pattern has been printed, which is exact same like this pattern. I hope that everything is clear to you. If you have any doubt, so let me know in the comment section. That's all for now. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Goodbye.